Why does a future noir brawler starring a sword named after a Camelot heirloom exist on the Super Nintendo? Because the 90s were legally obligated to ship at least one game per fiscal quarter containing the letters X and K side by side. Obviously. From its first splash screen, X-Kaliber 2097 looks like someone stuffed Final Fight, a stack of Marvel comics, and the liner notes from a Psykosonik EP into a blender, then poured the frothing neon goop straight onto a cartridge. Underrated gem, overhyped relic, both, neither. Pick your lane. We'll swerve into it together. I'm here to celebrate a title that swings harder than a TurboGrafx bassline, slings industrial beats like free t-shirts, and parades a crime lord in a blazing red three-piece suit through every cutscene like he just left a Devil May Cry cosplay meetup. Subtlety? Never met her. Is it essential or utterly disposable? Yes. Will we delve into boss patterns so absurd they'd make a JoJo stan blush? Also yes. Buckle up, polish your D-pad, and prepare for 4,000 plus words of sword-clashing, snark-laced reverie. Historical context: when X-Kaliber 2097 hit North America in March 1994, Activision was still 4 years shy of the Tony Hawk revenue tsunami and hungry for anything that might keep its logo in rental stores. The core game, developed by Fupak and Wins, had already launched in Japan 1 month earlier under the rather milder title Sword Maniac through Toshiba EMI. Activision's localization team cranked the Extreme-o-meter to 11. Sword becomes X-Kaliber, Hero / Dystopian Manhattan Neo N.Y, and every other noun acquires a consonant-heavy respelling that would make Image Comics jealous. Kane trades his Kane for K branding, even if the sprite still wields a literal walking stick. It was the era of Street Fighter II Turbo, Mortal Kombat's home console blood feud, and a beat-em-up glut that saw even biker mice from Mars punching people on 16-bit silicon. Into that haze strutted X-Kaliber, half side-scrolling slash-em-up, half one-on-one dueling showcase, 100% tell your friends we have a licensed soundtrack. My own first encounter came at a suburban Funkoland, where the demo station's worn SNES pad smelled faintly of Cheetos dust and existential dread. The clerk, rocking a soul patch no razor could tame, queued up the intro and whispered, "Think Strider on NyQuil meets Street Fighter in an alley." He wasn't wrong. The Sword Maniac Japanese build featured an orchestral sci-fi score by Hitoshi Sakimoto and Hayato Matsuo. Activision chucked that in favor of Minnesota industrial dance outfit Psykosonik, splashing their name on the box like a parental advisory sticker made of glow sticks. The outcome? A convergence of arcade trends. The cinematic action platformer, Ninja Warriors again, the weapon-centric anti-hero, Run Saber, and the suddenly fashionable versus boss rush design championed by Alien Soldier. It landed squarely in my personal Extreme Sword Guy epic, sharing shelf space with Mega Man X, Rival Turf sequels, and that weird cousin Brandish no one invited but everyone secretly respected. Mechanics controlling Slash feels like playing hack and slash Ninja Gaiden after enrolling it in a fencing academy. Your stance is low, swings broad, and every slash releases a satisfying metallic Che Shing that would cause OSHA to issue a decibel fine. Hold Y and the titular blade charges up a screen-long energy wave, the kind of move comic book villains warn henchmen about over Zoom, but the charge locks out normal attacks, turning each decision into a micro game of do I want instant crowd control or frame advantage. Most schmucks fall in 2 hits. Powered shots vaporize them, which is handy because the game's scroll cadence is brisk and the spawn table's unashamed. Yet X-Kaliber 2097 saves its real flex for the bosses. After every horizontal slice of cityscape, the camera snaps inward, HUD reshuffles, and suddenly you're in a bespoke duel arena reminiscent of Capcom's most lucrative cash cow. Tattoo, the opening act, bulks his forearm into a cannon straight out of a late-night Cronenberg binge, while heat-seeking fireballs litter the foreground. Chainsaw, subtle naming is for quitters, strides in next, revving his namesake tool before lobbing spinning blades like homicidal dinner plates. Kane, the bowler hat mob lieutenant in pinstripes, doesn't teleport. Instead, he dashes the length of the screen, hat boomerang spinning, cane sword jabbing with the urgency of a commuter who just missed the last subway. He wastes frames sprinting to the corner first, an AI quirks speedrunners exploit by pre-charging a downward power slash that intercepts him mid-stride. Watching that counter hit land delivers the same serotonin pop I get parrying Street Fighter III's Chun-Li Super. Less applause, same electricity. Stage design complements these duels with micro set pieces. In the Stage 4 subway, kamikaze drones pour in after the midsection corridor, layering vertical waves that practically demand a charged beam or pixel-perfect parry timing. Sloppy play rewards you with a chain of fiery self-destructs that juggle slash like a piñata. Trust me, I've provided the candy more times than I care to admit. Elsewhere, scaffolding crumbles beneath bullet-spraying morphs, forcing mid-air slashes that either look heroic or get you clipped. Pro tip, aim for heroic. Your continues will thank you. Controls exhibit just enough friction to feel intentional. Dashing requires a crisp double tap on the D-pad while no other button is depressed, so panic mashing is punished. Likewise, the parry window on the X button's sword block is generous, but not free. Think Dark Souls riposte timing filtered through SNES input latency. Master this and slash reflects bullets back at Mooks like he's auditioning for Jedi Outcast half a decade early. Every successful deflection triggers a tiny dopamine squirt. My neuroscientist friend calls this operant coolness reinforcement, or would if I had a neuroscientist friend. Cutscenes, deliciously overwrought, dialogue boxes feature Slash theatrically twirling the sword, Alex whirring from the hovercraft sidelines, and Raptor sipping mystery wine in that blazing red suit. Seriously, this sprite has RGB values set to sear retinas. Raptor's palette became my absurd motif for this entire playthrough. I counted 17 unique crimson hues across cutscenes, each one begging to be its own Crayola shade. Corporate bloodlust, perhaps. And then there's the secret sauce. From the title screen, punch X, Y, B, A, the controller's inner diamond, and 2 hidden difficulties appear in the options. Zero Umeking reduces the game to foam bats and participation trophies, perfect for your cousin who still calls every console a Nintendo. 7 Kazunic, meanwhile, jacks enemy HP and trims your iframes until bosses feel like bullet journals for pain. Activision never mentioned this in the manual. TCRF unearthed it years later, cementing X-Kaliber as playground rumor fuel. Finally, the versus mode, 7 selectable fighters, slash, tattoo, chainsaw, Kane, doctor. Blast, a generic morph, and yes, suit-strutting Raptor in 2-player duels. Frame data might not dethrone Street Fighter 2, but Slash's sword outrange, Tattoo's zoning, and Raptor's lightning punch whiff punish create a tight rock-paper-scissors dynamic, great for resolving snack run hierarchies. My adolescence included more than one best 2 of 3 loser buys surge occasions settled on this screen. Legacy and influence. No sequels, no reboots, no mobile reimagining with gotcha swords. X-Kaliber 2097 is a dead-end branch on the beat-em-up evolutionary tree, yet skeletons of its design echo elsewhere. Parry to projectile mechanics show up supercharged in Devil May Cry's Royal Guard style and in Metal Gear Rising's Blade mode. The idea that each level should crescendo into a dedicated foe fighter boss room foreshadows names like Fury and Cuphead. And let's not gloss over the marketing precedent. A boxed SNES game trumpeting an industrial dance soundtrack predicted the soundtrack as selling point approach perfected by Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 6 years later. Among speedrunners, the card enjoys modest affection. Any percent records hover around 19 minutes thanks to corner skip glitches and AI freeze exploits. Kane's run to corner script, perfect for stun locking him with repeated downward slashes. Twitch viewership spikes whenever AGDQ's awful block slots it in, partly because the gameplay is short, partly because Raptor's red palette photographs like a malfunctioning traffic light. Why didn't the mainstream care? Timing and saturation. 1994's SNES lineup already boasted Mega Man X, Super Metroid, Final Fight 3, and the Power Rangers movie tie-in. Reviewer fatigue set in. Magazines tossed X-Kaliber a 6 out of 10 and called it derivative. Rental stores filed it behind more recognizable IP, and many kids saw the box, spotted the 2097, assumed it was a forgotten RoboCop sequel, and walked on. But the cult persists, swapping carts at conventions, flexing the Japanese Sword Maniac variant for its alternate dialogue and orchestral OST, and arguing on forums about whether Sasaki's sword beam is balanced in versus mode. It is. Fight me. Closing paragraph plus score. What is X-Kaliber 2097 in 2025? A fever dream soda flavor, equal parts citrus zing and metallic aftertaste, served in a chalice shaped like a broadsword. It's a game that faceplants often, sprite flicker, occasional slowdown, yet pops back up, winks, and swings again with style. It gifts us Tattoo's body cannon, Chainsaw's buzzblade ballet, Kane's hatfu corner dashes, and Raptor posing in that incandescent red suit like he's angling for a front row seat at Fashion Week. Neo N.Y. Is it a masterpiece? Is it unforgettable? Absolutely. My final word, 7.0 out of 10 on Kazunic difficulty, because that's where the sword truly sings. Fire up the CRT, pump the Psykosonik bass, and remember, in your best late night announcer voice, only Slash can save Neo N.Y, and he'll do it in style.